So, I wanted to make a video on what I've been up to in the past few months. And, for a long time, I've always imagined how life would be if I didn't have to go to a job, if I didn't have to have any time constraints or, have to deal with I don't know, coworkers or managers that don't necessarily have your best interest in mind. I don't even know if that makes sense. All I know is I have been working for most of my life, and I was always wondering and wanting the opportunity to not have to live that kind of lifestyle. And the past 10 months have been precisely that. And I have learned many things from it, some good, some not so good. What is good and what is bad? Except part of the life experience, right? We have a tendency to, I guess, pigeonhole experiences into good or bad based on our feelings, based on our thoughts, based on the perspective that we have on it. But if you were to just kind of just see things as they are and see life as it is, it really isn't that difficult. We make it difficult. So, the past 10 months, I've got the opportunity to experience living life without having to go to a job. And I feel like, depending on, I guess, where you're at and how you are processing life or moving through it, based on your expectations, based on a lot of things, you ultimately based on your attitude. If you have been out of work for 10 months, it can be either a blessing in disguise or an absolute terror. I got to experience both. So when this first started, I was like, yes, this is life I've been always like, this is life as I want or have wanted to have lived it. And the first 8 months were amazing. In fact, I lived I don't know if you want to say it was static. I don't think so because I got out of bed. I noticed areas of my life that needed to shift and move, and I was proactive about that. So instead of spending all day, every day in the bed, I decided to get out of the bed, go to the beach, go on a hike, start tapping into artistic endeavors. Um, I use the time to recognize habits that were not necessarily beneficial to me, such as my diet, such as maybe my exercise routine, such as, I don't know, then I just started kind of purging and simplifying, and it's been amazing, you know? Um, I think when it came to about, I don't know, maybe the 10 or 11 month mark, I started kind of going into flip mode because I'm like, okay, maybe I should look for a job. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Shouldn't be that hard to find a job. But when I entered the arena of actually looking for a job, I noticed there's nothing that I wanted to do. There's nothing that I wanted to do, which was also kind of exciting, because it kind of helped me to maybe push outside of the normal sphere of what you consider um, a how do I say, it helped me look outside of the normal sphere of what we would consider doing to bring income in. That's what I was trying to say. So like I was like, okay, well, I definitely don't want to go back to a 9 to 5. Definitely don't want to. And if I do go back, I definitely don't want full time. I want part time. And if I do part time, there's, a particular schedule that I would like to have. I don't want somebody to give me a part-time job and tell me like I need you to work these days and hours. Yeah, I know that sounds like the complete opposite of what we've been taught, but to be honest, I wasn't really like into like giving away my time to something that I didn't like and giving away more hours than I would like and then taking like not having the days off that I want. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like if that's not going to line up, I'm not going to settle, and I'm also not going to act out of haste or act from a place of what is that word called? A place of being desperate, if that even makes sense. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be acting from a place of being desperate. So, I thought this would be fairly easy. Like I thought, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go apply for jobs. I'm gonna get one, and no, it's been like I don't know. I've been attempting to find work for the past 3 weeks, and I haven't really found anything. And I think what happens is when your mind has an idea of how something should be, aka expectations, we have a tendency to get disappointed, maybe a little bit of anxiety when things just don't fall into place the way we had anticipated. And so that's what I was going through. I was going through like a 3 week session of absolute depression, absolute anxiety, and absolute just like crazy, like just crazy anxiety because, oh my God, like I have a plan to bring income in. I thought this would be easy. Nothing is happening. And then I finally got to a point where, I was like, doing all kinds of like research, like how to make passive income. That's one option. I was thinking, why work hard for someone else when I can work for myself and bring in, if not as much, more income than just working for someone else, 9 to 5 job. So I've been like doing a bunch of research, and every time you go on YouTube, you're just flooded with all these people saying how they're self-made and how it's so easy, and they're making it look so easy, and then you get like really like hyped up at first, and then you get discouraged because you're just like, like for instance, if you're watching a YouTuber and they're saying like one of the ways to make passive income is to like become a YouTuber. Well, obviously, if you're not successful and you don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions of subscribers, you're not going to be like successful at that. And for me, I started a channel, but it kind of reached a plateau and it never kind of took off from there. So knowing that, I'm just like, well, that doesn't work for me. But then, you have this comparison game where it's like, well, if they can do it, I should be able to do it, but how come I'm not doing it? And then you just start kind of like going into like this downward spiral about your self-esteem and what you have to offer and, you know, whatever. And I was just like, you know what? I'm being bombarded by all these different like people telling me that I need to try harder. I need to like do this. I need to do that. I need to be this. I need to be that in order to acquire the same level of success as them. The big thing is though, I am not them and they are not me. We have completely different paths and completely different ways of experiencing life. So how could I possibly compare their path to mine? You know what I'm saying? And they make it look so easy and so, yeah, I'm just like, no. How about I just step back from all of this including my mental expectations, and just take a moment to realize how good I actually have it, how wonderful life actually is when you get out of your own fucking brain and get out of your own fucking way and stop trying to be or stop trying to attain what everyone else has. How about you just look at yourself and your life, and maybe if you learned how to manage your money better, maybe if you maybe like got rid of stuff, maybe if you focused on like better diet or better like ways of living, improving your posture, maybe that in itself is all you really need. You don't really need too much aside from yourself, this body, and the few things that you have around you. I think we constantly are like seeking and grabbing and trying and doing instead of just letting all that go and sitting in place and looking around and seeing how much you already have and appreciating that. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I just heard this like quote today and it just totally was profound to me. Like, if people are zigging, then you should be zagging. So my whole thing is, we're living in this society where like everybody is running after money, running after things, running after success, running after this, running after that, running after attention. I just feel like I'm good. I don't need the attention. I don't need to be running or trying or doing. I can just be sitting here and enjoying my life and enjoying myself and the people who enter my area and live life on such a much more profound and satisfying level. I understand that everybody is at different, like, how do I say, levels, degrees, dimensions of learning and living life, but that doesn't mean that's for you, I mean, I feel like a lot of times I'd go out to seek information or for inspiration. That's predominantly what I would go on the internet for or social media, is to be inspired or to like help me to think outside the box or to, just kind of like get me, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But my whole thing is sometimes that can be toxic because it totally draws you away from you and it keeps you fixated on things that don't really matter. A lot of times that's what happens. And then like it gets you thinking about how like maybe you should be a certain way or whatever. And when you don't line up to that expectation, you set yourself up for disappointment, depression, anxiety. No, no, no. You should spend more time just simplifying your life and being grateful for all the stuff that you already have and realizing you don't really need much more. I think a lot of people need more money or they need more things or they need ego gratification, insecurity. They need to prove something to themselves. They need to prove something to everyone else instead of just being cool with what they have. So now that I'm just kind of like, people are zigging into like getting all this stuff, all this unnecessary stuff. I'm going to start zagging, like doing the opposite. Anyways, that's what this video was about. I don't know if it was helpful. Um, but yeah, that's what it is. I thought about how, like, when I was younger, I don't think I was really in the frame of mind of like chasing anything. I think I just knew what I wanted. I take proactive steps towards it. I didn't necessarily have any expectations. I was just really open, and it wasn't really about money. It was more about being able to do something that I enjoyed. And then, yeah, the money was nice. It helped me to like buy all these experiences and buy all these non essential things. But, like now that I'm currently where I'm at, I'm thinking like I'm good. Like when you go to a job, you have to deal with so many things that a lot of people aren't even happy at their job, right? Think about it. A lot of people aren't happy at their job. So why would you continue doing something that you don't like doing? And then you're going to say, well, I have all these things I have to pay for. Maybe you can downsize on some of the things that you currently are spending your money on. Like if you eat out all the time, maybe stop eating out. Um, Maybe if you bought a car, sell the car. There's just different ways of going about it. We don't have to be stuck in a particular situation. I feel like that's why people work because